want to respond to this comment where I talked about, fathers who are abusive to their daughters or withhold money and resources from their daughters intentionally. This commenter says, and I kid you not, those fathers always have a woman. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men for many years now. And I wanted to respond to this post because I find it so very interesting when a woman, any woman, stands by and watches your father mistreat his own children, much less be in a relationship with them. I think that's a whole other thing altogether. That is so interesting to me, where women will be in a relationship with a man who mistreats his children and is mean to them intentionally, doesn't take care of his children, doesn't provide, doesn't go to any events, doesn't even know what's going on with their children. It is so interesting and bewildering to me. It is such a phenomenon that these men are always booed up, because she's not wrong. They're always booed up. They may be married, or they may even, go to another family. I give you an example of this was, Bruce Jenner was an example of this, and his son, I forget what his son's name, Brody Jenner, was always talking about how Bruce just sort of walked out on them and just hopped over to another family and was not there. And Brody was trying all of these things. He's publicly spoken about how he tried to get his father involved in his life in every aspect, from pitching shows to doing all sorts of things just to get any sort of crumbs from him. But no, he couldn't. And he had to sort of stand back and watch his father take on the Kardashian girls and just do his thing with them as if he didn't have a whole other family, somewhere else. But here's the thing, while they may get him, and by him I mean your father, and this is anybody, whether that next family or that woman gets him, they're not getting a prize. They're not even getting great treatment from him. He's just there, because I'm a firm believer in that a leopard never changes its spots. They're just going to be, it's just about who's going to put up with the BS more than the next person, and who's going to be more of a person to provide more glue to hold the image together. So I don't think that he may be doing other things, more things, but I don't think that he's a stellar person, a man that sort of skips out on their community. But there are women that condone this bullshit. And I've done posts on this before, where women will stand by with criminals and do all these things, will marry. And somebody else brought up Candy and Todd, about how, Candy wanted to give to his daughter, and Todd was like, no, don't you give her anything. He was invested in watching his own daughter struggle with Candy's money. It's very interesting to me how a man is telling a woman, is fascinated, is obsessed with telling a woman how to spend her money. But I think the other aspect of that, was him wanting to see his daughter struggle and be mistreated, even by the woman that he is with. He is encouraging the woman that he is with to mistreat his daughter, and don't treat her like she's special. Don't give her any resources. Let her struggle. And in bringing in the Candy and Todd situation, somebody else brought it up. He wanted to see his daughter struggle. He didn't want his resources shared with her. He wanted to make his daughter, a spectacle, but he didn't want her to share his resources with her. He's telling the woman that he's with, hey, he's encouraging her to not give her any resources. And, someone else, people have been pointing this out in the comments. And that should have been the cue right then and there to tell you what type of, if nothing else told you, again, you could sort of clock it from further back, but if nothing else told you about, that person's character, that right there should have. But, that's also, to me, an indication about Candy, in her own work, is standing beside a man who doesn't want to help his children get ahead and is encouraging her to mistreat or withhold resources. And not just on closed doors, on national television, he's doing that. So you can only imagine what's going on behind closed doors. But I digress. She stayed married to him. And not only that, men like that are always booed up. So these women are condoning that mistreatment. They're standing silently by. They're co-signing on it. These men are inviting them to mistreat their daughters on top of that. So, I mean, what can you say? These women are to blame as much because they're not checking that behavior. They're not holding this man accountable. They're not walking away from that relationship. So there's really little to no repercussions from the women that they're with. They'll stand by and they'll offer up and say, well, that's your daddy. I can't really do nothing. Yeah, you can, actually. You really can. And the fact that you would even sit up here in my face and tell me some stupid shit like that, you're worse of a problem than he is, because you want to come to me behind the scenes and tell me, oh, well, that's not right. You're sort of whispering in my ear, but you won't call him out. You won't make him stand up and be a man. You won't stand up. So, it is what it is. But they are problematic. But they're not going to let that man go because, hey, they want to be married. They want to be with a man so doggone bad that they're willing to stand by and endorse and co-sign on his bad behavior. But trust and believe they're going to find out about it on the back end. So thank you so much for pointing that out.